Good morning. It is Friday, July 14th, 2023. If I remember correctly, because I'm so old I had a civics class, right? Isn't today Flag Day? It's so sad we don't have a country anymore. We have the States of America, with a K, incorporated. I don't know where to start getting a cake and before people start yelling at me because I'm a problem for loving the country I used to live in. So I don't get it. If you celebrate, please enjoy it. If you don't celebrate, well then, don't celebrate. Yesterday's stuff was we had 3 tours. I actually got to drive a houseboat down the canal. I'm getting a little more guidance on that, which is important because I need to get that guidance for that in order to learn how to do it. So that was my first time. A lot of stuff to process, but no fear. I didn't have any fear at all. And I was working with our senior captain, so I knew I was in very good hands getting that education and information. My 2 top secret projects, email on one, phone call on another. Stay tuned. And now the dogs ate just fine. I think that Mr. Bodie over here, he's not a big fan of his dry food, but if I put a little gravy in it, man, he just goes crazy. So I think we found a solution there, which means I've got to get a smaller container for some cornstarch and some water and get that started, which is fine because I have plenty of baby food jars. That's perfectly good. Half a teaspoon of cornstarch, fill it up with a little cold water. It's about 4 ounces. Shake it up, add it to any broth that I make, and boom, we got gravy. So let's go over to our daily Zen poem. For no reason it rains, whispers of reality. How lovely it sings, drop by drop. Sitting and lying, I listen with empty mind. I don't need ears, and I don't need rain. Chingak, no date. Personally, I love the sound of rain falling. And since it rains every day, and it rained like a son of a gun yesterday, so bad we had to cancel our last tour because it was just a mess. Lightning, thunder, that type of thing. Too dangerous to take the big boat out, or any boat out. But that made the critters come out, so that was nice. But I agree with that. Once you pay attention to nature, you stop needing that input. Once you get it, you can just go on your own mental pathway to peace. Because nobody's whining when it rains. If you're just sitting and listening to the rain, nobody's whining. Nobody's complaining. Nobody's screaming of my rights. Nobody is telling you you're wrong because you think that water is wet and the sky is blue. None of that happens. It all falls away. It's part of the reason I love my meditation every morning. Because I get down to base reality instead of phony horseshit. So for me, it's a very calming thing. If you haven't tried to meditate, I would suggest to everybody, it's a great practice to get into. Do it. It turns off the bullshit of the world, and it turns on your ability to appreciate the world as it stands. It gives you, and I can't say this, it gives you a set of reality filters. You get rid of the rose-colored glasses, and you get rid of the scales on your eyes, and you start seeing things as they are instead of what somebody tells you they are or anything else. Many people dive into compassion with their meditation. And I think that that's a really, really good idea. If that's your pathway, dive into it. That's not my pathway. My pathway is peace, quiet, solitude, and that meditation helps me control my sense of wanting to break out in facts and screaming when somebody stupid is in front of me, which is a little too many for my taste. So, let's go over to Daily Rune Pull. Bodie, get out of the bathroom, please. I got the bathroom open. I got my shower, so I've got the hatch open. It's very humid here, like 70%. So I got to keep everything dry. I'm going to flip it over so you see it the way I got it. Okay, that is Kano, and we have pulled that before. Okay. And let's see. It is the inverse. Hang on. We're getting there. Again, this is the rune of opening, fire, or torch. Inverted. Expect the darkening of the light in some situation or relationship. A friendship may be dying, a partnership or a marriage. Some aspect of yourself that is no longer appropriate to the person you are now. Receiving the rune puts you on notice that failure to face up to this death consciously would constitute a loss of opportunity. It is a cycle rune, and reversed it points to the death of the way of life invalidated by growth. You must give up gladly the old and be prepared to live for a time empty. It requires getting inner stability and not being seduced by the momentum of old ways while waiting for the new to become illuminated. And that's pretty nice, you know. I don't see that as negative. You know, sometimes we have to give up things. You know, we have to say, okay, there are certain things I'm not giving up. And we all know what's going on with that. But there are certain times you have to give up things. Maybe the idea that you're going to get promoted in this garbage company you work for. Maybe you got to give that up. And you got to go, why am I working so hard? I don't get this. I'm not going to get anywhere. So instead of killing myself over and over to prove my merit, why don't I just do what needs to be done and go home? You know, they call that quiet quitting. And you know what? I'd say, you know, in that essence with your occupation, please act your wage and not your age. You know, that I think that's an important function when you're no longer, you know, the most valid thing in a company. Okay. You may need to give up something you're doing right now. Maybe you are trying to, I don't know, can pickles, and you just keep failing. Well, maybe the answer is you need to stop that, get a little help on that pickle canning, and move backwards to carrots or apples. You know, something you know you have an effective thing to do. Just, you know, be empty on that. Do something with the cucumbers, you know, that you can store and manage until you can find somebody to give you the proper guidance to do that well. Okay. Our little book, I'm going to pull right to the beginning now. When committed to employing your forces, feign inactivity. When your objective is nearby, make it look distant. When it is distant, create the illusion of it being nearby. Create profits to entice them. Create disorder in their forces and take them. We've seen that happen. If they are substantial, prepare for them. If they are strong, you avoid them. If they are angry, you perturb them. Be deferential to foster their arrogance. Oh, if that isn't every purple-haired, tattooed, screaming Mimi Karen I have ever seen. And if they are rested, force them to exert themselves. I love that. That's the best that I've heard in quite a while. Whatever their weakness is, exploit it. Because they're not your friends. They're not your enemies. They're walking garbage. Maybe it's time we all decided to take the trash out. I am going to wake up. Well, wait a second. He's half awake. Oh, we got Belly. We're going to go backwards. Here. This is your quiet moment of Bodhi while I pet Queso's belly. You're slipping. There you go. He was a good boy last night. He We went to bed about 8:15, and he decided now was a great time to throw his baby around. So he was throwing it around the bed back and forth, kept hitting me in the head with it a couple times. I finally had to say, look, you got to go to bed. It's got to stop. He woke me up once to use the bathroom. And using the bathroom at 11:30 at night in the Everglades outside, because he's not good with the pad as much as I would like. It ain't easy. We got it done, though. When he goes outside, he's bang on it. And now, your obligatory case of you. Also a very good boy. He only got up twice to go pee last night, so that was a good thing. All right, so today's plans are work. Okay, I did a couple of houseboats yesterday, made sure they were good and groovy. And we have one more that needs to be done. And so if there's no 9 a.m. tour, I certainly have a job to do. We'll take care of that. And we also, I did a little studying last night. I did a little more reading. And, so now I'm ready to go on to radio electronics. I'm having a difficult time with navigational aids because they are more complex than I thought they were. It ain't organic chemistry, and it sure ain't genetics, but it's complicated. So it's learning how to read them because they're not in English. It's all colors and symbols. So that's fine. It's just another language. Temperature currently is 85 degrees. It went down to 83 last night. It's supposed to go up to 91. I'm sure they'll put in another heat advisory because God forbid you should hear, from your weather app, it's going to be a nice day. Go out and play. Nope, you got to sit down and be afraid. And so I tell everybody that says the exact same thing about we have to listen to their warnings. I go, listen, put on a mask, get a blanket, go under your couch, and for God's sake, don't come out again. Because the world is a scary place. You might get rained on. It might get warm out. I don't know what to tell you. But if you want to engage in fear-based thinking, I want to help you. And the way I want to help you is remove you from my sight. Just get out. Go. Very important thing to think about as well today when we're talking about our rune, talking about things that are changing. Maybe they're, you have to let go of something. We've got, our beautiful poem about once you get down to base reality, you don't need all that sensory input anymore. You don't need to listen to the maniac. You don't need to listen to the screaming Karen. You don't need to play with your HOA. You can just go and just walk away and listen to the rain. That's where your peace and tranquility is going to be. That's where you're going to discover base reality. Especially so you can use that thing to navigate the world, because it ain't your friend. It's just a place you're navigating. And our little book told us that it is incredibly important to keep the enemy off guard. Excuse me. Keep them thinking whatever they're thinking should not be what's going on. And let's face it, don't you live in a society where what's actually happening and what they're telling you is happening, they're two different things. So, I see no crime taking a play out of their playbook and using it against them. Why not? By the time they catch up, because they're so busy, worried about stickers and signs and muffins and $100 for a box lunch to yell on a street corner, by that time you've already moved around them. You're gone. You're going to your success. And they're going to complain. Don't get distracted. Move around them and go to your success. That is our message of the day. You will be successful. I think you will achieve. You just have to learn that when there is nonsense, what do? Turn around and walk away. Don't even respond to it. Let them yell in the parking lot. Let them scream and cry. You can't talk to a zombie. You can't argue with crazy and stupid. So we're going to wrap this up because I got to feed the kids. Let's do it the right way. If you don't take care of you, nobody else will. Thanks, Mom. Are they like-minded? Do they share your values? Do they have something to offer? Or no to any of these questions? See ya. This is the way you wanted the world. When we told you not, we didn't want it this way. You told us to sit down and shut up. Well, back to the playpen. Back to the high chair. The world isn't unfair. It's just not being made the way you want it. Hell, we had a person on this planet that refused to go to school until everybody in the world changed the weather to make her happy. Yes, Virginia, this is the level of mental screwedness that we're dealing with now. And this is considered logical. Last bit of the day. Anything they tell you, take the opposite. The truth pops out. Do that. They tell you to take 5 aspirin, take no aspirin. They tell you to sign up for this, put your pen down. Whatever they say to do, the opposite is reality and the true. Walk away from it. Think for yourselves. Let that rain, let that sound, get you to the point where you get to base reality, and then you can look at them and you can either do a couple things. Laugh. Or you just simply go, nope, and you walk away. Do what's right for you, people. I'm going to go feed the dogs. You have a good day. I will see you tomorrow.